This is your host, Toasty Critic, and welcome to another crazy week that was. Between finding out about the secret erotic journals of Anne Frank and the life and times of Kanye West's American Rorschach test, we have dealt with more than you could possibly imagine. And it's possible you want to forget about all of that stuff, which is exactly why you're here. The guide prides itself on bringing to you the best of fake news, brought to your home through some computer cable, wires, and duct tape. Okay, maybe only duct tape if you're MacGyver. This is a great week to be here if you're a Star Wars fan. Not only does the movie Solo, a Star Wars movie, come to a theater near you, directed by the one and only Opie, but you get to come here and read our 4th edition of the Fake News Weekly. We at The Guide are excited to bring directly to you the Single Dad's Guide to Fake News, Star Wars Edition. This does not mean that everything in our top 10 fake news stories of this week will be Star Wars related. I'm not even sure I could come up with 10 fake news stories on it. Well, at least until the Solo movie comes out this Friday. But for those of you new to our fake news catalog of craziness, we take the top 10 stories from the week and twist them to suit our purposes and tickle your funny bone. But I don't want to take too long here, so without further ado, here are the top 10 fake news stories of the week. Number 1. In the Star Wars universe, Rey is the love child of Han Solo and Qi'ra. Okay, if I end up being right about this, it would be absolutely insane. Then again, it would also make Rey the half-sister of Kylo Ren, which would be... ew. Not that Star Wars is beyond playing around with the idea of incest to see Luke Skywalker and Leia. I cannot watch the beginning of The Empire Strikes Back without a bit of queasiness, as Leia plants a big wet one on Luke's lips. Not that she knew their sibling situation at the time. As for Solo, what we do know is Qi'ra, in an original draft of Lucas' Star Wars Episode 7, which would become The Force Awakens, was supposed to be the original name for Rey in the Star Wars universe. Crazy, right? So could it be possible that instead of being Rey, she becomes Rey's namesake? Of course, now all I can see is pictures of Rey and Kylo together, which scares me. And fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. Somebody get me the Pepto. Number 2. After Solo, the next Star Wars movie will be Lando Calrissian, the Pansexual, a Star Wars story. Everyone knows Lando and Solo. They have a past. Whatever their past may be, we are to discover it in the upcoming Star Wars movie. What I was unaware of was the pansexual nature of the character. Sure, Lando hits on anything that walks. In 1981, this would have meant any female standing upright. By the time we got to 2000, you might begin to wonder if Lando and Han's hug lasts a little too long for them to be just best buds. But by 2018, we've gone full spectrum, as Donald Glover, the new Lando, tells us of Lando's conquest of a blob. Okay, maybe not a blob, but at the very least he goes full Kirk in Star Trek with a green woman in one arm and sexual energy to spare. Where Lando's exploits take him after the Solo movie, no one really knows. But we are told Glover would love to star in a Star Wars story of his own. What would your name for the new Lando movie be? I'd love to see it in the comments down below. Number 3. After being taxed to death, Amazon decides to go full deep state. Amazon, in a surprising move which deeply concerns civil liberties experts, released facial recognition technology to police departments in Washington County, Oregon, and Orlando, Florida. I suppose the old adage applies here. If you can't beat them, get in bed with the state and hope they don't go Eric Schneiderman on you. It is kind of amusing that on the cusp of getting taxed, Amazon gives stuff to the police of multiple municipalities to make them happy. Coincidence? I will leave that for you to decide. With the possibility of them partnering facial recognition technology with the Alexa in the future, I can only imagine the possibilities. Instead of saying, "Hi Alexa," maybe we should be saying, "Hi Big Brother." Number 4. Supermarket goes full Joey Tribbiani, as it won't put a special message on a graduation cake. Okay, so craziness abounds out there in the world. People say all kinds of crude and rude things, and we don't want to be supportive of those who do those things. So when it comes to the words we use, it's important we use ones which represent our values. Evidently, to the public store in South Carolina, graduating with high honors means something gross and sexual. How is it possible, you ask? What could a mother possibly ask to be put on a graduation cake which would make them afraid? The guy delved firsthand into the depravity of the situation. Evidently, the mother asked summa cum laude to be put on the cake. She thought it would be appropriate to put it on a cake and didn't imagine the uproar she would receive. But you and I both know how disgusting to put on a cake it would be. It would only be something a porn star or Joey Tribbiani would want to get a laugh of on a cake. How dare a mother put it on a cake? How vile! Wait, it means high honor? Never mind. So, instead of putting what the mother asked, they placed 3 asterisks in the middle of the cake. I can only imagine what they would do with a cake for a bachelorette party. Maybe they would just bake an asterisk cake. Number 5. The guide celebrates a Lifetime Achiever for the Darwin Awards with International Bitcoin Pizza Day. What do you mean, how can Bitcoin Pizza Day be a thing? You know, the guide celebrates food holidays, but how can Bitcoin Pizza Day be a food holiday? It's not. Not really. But we have to celebrate anyone doing such a catastrophically stupid thing. He should find himself on the Darwin Awards. Only somehow he is not that dumb, as he is a computer programmer. What did he do, you may ask? Evidently, he spent the modern-day equivalent of $80 million for 2 pizzas. How is it possible? The computer programmer thought it would be cool back in 2010 to purchase pizzas with this new cryptocurrency. With the going rate of 1 Bitcoin being $8,020, his 10,000 Bitcoin pizza purchase today made the pizza owner very lucky. It worked out to $5 million a slice. Maybe I should get into selling pizza instead. Number 6. Shaq takes the boy band world by storm. Shaq has been many things in his career. Genie, Kazam, say it or so, Shaq. Rapper, as debatable as that might be. Basketball player, freight train on a court. TV host, and possible WWE sparring partner with Charles Barkley. But he took things to a whole new level when he landed in the big boy band with Justin Timberlake and NSYNC, spouting such memorable boy band lines like, "I know that I can't take no more, it ain't no lie," or "Just another player in your game for 2. And who can forget, I'm giving up. I know for sure I don't want to be the reason for your love no more." Special lines like these sung in the inimitable way by the Shaq Man himself, and you can see why NSYNC rose to the top of the charts so quickly. Of course, the departure by Shaq... Wait, you say he was never on NSYNC? Google swears he was. Well, they swore he was for at least 15 minutes, until the members of NSYNC discovered him replacing Joey Fatone in the list. Of course, Lance Bass then went on to swear Shaq really was instrumental in the development of the band. They made their first album at his home, after all, so maybe on the reunion tour they should replace Fatone with Shaq. Or maybe not. Number 7. Something to add to the When Pigs Fly category. Flying rattlesnakes. You may not think you should have to watch out for those, because rattlesnakes are landlocked. Or so we were told. But some kayaker in South Carolina decided he had to go out and prove everyone else wrong about flying rattlesnakes. Smart, right? Evidently, one flew at him from a tree and dove for his hand, biting him multiple times before winding up in the lake. We at the Guide decided to ask biologists about the possible evidence of a new species. Biologists are divided into 2 camps about the possibility of flying rattlesnakes as a result of this story. 1, there are those who discount this harrowing tale and insist there are no categories of flying rattlesnakes like there are flying squirrels. The second group just laughed at us until they crawled up into fetal position on the floor. From the laughing and the drooling on the floor, we are guessing they also meant no. Number 8. Border Patrol agents get lost on their way to the U.S.-Mexico border. 30 miles south of the U.S.-Canadian border in Montana, Border Patrol agents stop two women for making Spanish remarks in public. Shocking, right? We assume they must have been Southern Border Patrol agents because we cannot imagine how ridiculous it would be to stop someone for speaking Spanish 30 miles south of the Canadian border. Why would they even worry about it at that point? If they had been illegal, maybe they were making their way up to Canada. Why would you even stop them? They would have made their way past the southern border several hundred miles back. Given we believe these Border Patrol agents must have gone several hundred miles the wrong way to work, we at the Guide figured it would be nice to give them a helping hand. We knew we could give these officers valuable information to assist them in the future, making sure they don't go the wrong way to work next time. Here are 5 helpful hints you might be going the wrong direction if you're a Border Patrol agent on the U.S.-Mexico border. Number 1. If you start seeing fewer and fewer Mexican restaurants, you might be going the wrong way. Number 2. When you start seeing snow, you might be going the wrong way. Number 3. When the people around you use at the end of every sentence, you might be going the wrong way. Number 4. When you start hearing the French language as often as you hear English or Spanish, you might be going the wrong way. And number 5. When it's wintertime and you are going the opposite direction of migrating birds in the sky, you might be going the wrong way. Number 9. Oregon's latest way to avoid state budget shortfalls? Bill a teenager. In a shocking move in Hood River County, a judge decided he would help out the state legislature with any budget shortfalls this year all by himself. His idea? Charge a teenager $37 million over the next 10 years for throwing a couple of fireworks into a canyon with a ton of trees around. Admittedly, the teen isn't the brightest bulb when it comes to intelligence. One may argue no teen is. I certainly wasn't. But throwing fireworks into a forest probably ranks up there in magnitude for stupid decisions. How the judge intends to collect on this amount from someone as bright as this teenager, one can only guess. He claims the teen can get out of it after 10 years for good behavior, but why charge the teen that amount if he doesn't expect him to pay in the first place? I think the state of Oregon might want to ask judges for IQ tests prior to getting on the bench. Just a thought. Number 10. Newsflash. Most idiotic comment award at the Miss USA pageant does not go to a contestant. Over the vast history of Miss USA pageants, without a doubt, there must have been hundreds of hours of footage of people saying stupid things on camera. And if they aren't stupid, they are probably pre-scripted answers to questions that they ask a million times at the pageants. Someone might want to tell those women that while world peace may be a laudable goal, you will not stand out from any of the other competition if you ask for that. Furthermore, it's world peace, not world peas. I just felt like I needed to throw that in there. As inane and boring as these remarks may be, one person at Miss USA decided they needed to get in on the idiotic comment competition, and it wasn't even a contestant. It was, in fact, the host who made such a crazy remark. Not that the hosts have to be particularly bright either, but Carson Kressley of Queer Eye for the Straight Guy fame decided he could one-up all the competition by commenting on said competition. Kressley stated that choosing between these women was akin to making Sophie's Choice. Of course, Sophie's Choice was a Holocaust drama where a woman had to decide which one of her children the Nazis would kill. Pageant? Holocaust. Maybe he saw Donald Trump lurking in the background and was mixing his metaphors. We'll be kind to the host and give him a word of advice. In the future, keep your Holocaust metaphors to Donald Trump and the Republicans, and no one will notice you amidst all of those other alarmists in Hollywood saying the exact same thing. Or not. He can decide whether our advice is worth taking. He dished it out often enough. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Single Dad's Guide to Fake News. We appreciate your questions, comments, or suggestions here below. If you have any idea for a fake news story, submit it here in the comments section or shoot me an email. Any idea which gets used in the blog will get a follow link and a mention in the post. Thanks for stopping by once again. This is your host, Toasty Critic, signing off and saying stay safe until next week before the real news drives you insane.